Downward spiral indeed. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls Pregame, presented to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download their app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. This is my guy, Big Dave. He is BOW, B-A-W-L Sports. And the bow whisperer there is our proud producer, Joey Spathis. Follow him at Joey Spathis. We are CHGO_Bulls. Our pal, Mark K, will be joining us later on tonight for postgame. We got a lot to talk about.
We got stuff.
First of all, how are you?
I'm great. And now I'm great. I'm doing much better, guys. Thank you for asking. All the
Dave was having a
wishes.
time on Sunday night.
All the well wishes.
Some of you may have been here.
I'm doing much better.
150 points.
I'm doing much better now. Joey, I do have a question for you. Yes. Who's this on my shirt?
I can't even see it.
There it is. Take a look.
I still can't see it that well.
You can't see who this is? Can't see? Can't see? Can't see? Take it.
No, not sure. Is it? I don't know. Who is it?
The 1814 is a dead giveaway.
I don't know.
I know you would know. This is Janet Jackson.
You learn something new every day.
Oh, Lord. For the children.
Oh, my God.
We're here for the children.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
We got a super chat from Dupes, who said this morning someone in Chicago wished that the Bulls would just have something exciting happen and the finger on the monkey's paw curled. That's an interesting way to put it. What's up, Dupes? Okay. You may have seen some Bulls-related news drop earlier today.
Yes.
We will get to that. We wanted to lead into that with some choice words from Bulls head coach Billy Donovan and a couple of his players that were said after an embarrassing performance against the Minnesota Timberwolves that caused
points.
Big Dave to lose his GD mind. 150
points.
Billy Donovan was talking about what he might be able to do differently defensively after the Bulls gave up the most regulation points since 1982. He said, Joey, if you please, I can switch to zone, I can switch to different pick and roll coverages, but if the compete level is not high enough, collectively as a group out there, it doesn't make a difference. If that's not a coach calling out his players for a lack of effort, it's right there in the quote. I don't know what is, Dave.
It's in your face in the quote. You know, I felt two ways about this. The first one was, when you say something like that, isn't that part of your job as a head coach, is to make sure your team is ready to compete? And I didn't like that at all, because it felt like he was throwing these guys under the bus like, well, I did everything I could do, but if they don't want to do it, what do you want me to do? I didn't like that. I just didn't like how that sounded, because that's literally a part of your job. When you've heard the coaches say many a day, it was my fault, I didn't have these guys ready to play. You've heard coaches say it many a day. So part of that, I didn't like. The other half, I understood. I was like, I get it. I understand why you're feeling this way. Like, these dudes are just not clicking. Stuff isn't clicking. What he's putting out there, they're not picking up or putting down. They're not feeling him right now. And so it's not clicking. And the fact that it's being done on the court where guys aren't giving maximum effort, and as you know, that drives me insane when teams do not put out maximum effort. You say those kind of things, man. And Billy's been a great diplomat, you know what I'm saying, for this team all season long. Didn't want to do that to those guys. He's been pretty honest, but this was the first time where I just heard him kind of fed up when he said something.
Right. I saw a comment that Joey just put up a second ago from Bull Don't Lie saying even Billy call out Zach LaVine. There was something else that Billy said postgame I thought was interesting, talking about offensive execution, saying, quote, we've got to get out of the mindset of worrying about scoring and how it's going offensively and realize that the ball scores. And if the ball's moved and passed, whoever scores. That sounds like a coach talking to, indirectly, a player or players who he seems to think are too worried about who's scoring instead of the team scoring.
Yeah, no, clearly that's what that is. That is called a shot. A veiled shot, but a shot at someone. And we have an idea who it might be, or is someone that feels, I don't know, is it thinking?
Maybe. Do you think it might be Zach LaVine? Speaking of which, let's keep rolling with the quotes, Joey. This is Zach LaVine talking about offensive execution after the loss to Minnesota.
Okay.
It sounds like someone with shields up. all of us try to play the right way. I try to come off pick and rolls instead of trying to shoot on the first side, even if I think I can take my guy. I try to hit the other side, hit the pocket, and then swing it. I know Vooch in the post has a mismatch. Sometimes they're asking him to space the floor. Same with DeMar. But for all three of us to come together, we've just got to do a better job of facilitating the offense to where everybody feels involved. Okay, to me, Dave, trying to read the subtext of what Zach LaVine is saying there, he's saying, ain't my fault. That sounds like ain't my fault. I pass to my teammates when I feel like I need to be passing to my teammates, even when I think I could get myself a good shot or the best shot. I don't necessarily love the way that came off sounding from Zach. It sounded very defensive, and it sounded like somebody saying, hey, man, I'm doing my part.
Yeah, and agree.
To play team ball.
I agree with you. It's the second time I've heard a quote from him like that this year. The first one was when he was 1 for 16, and he was like, well, Billy's going to have to live with that. You know what I mean? Like it was a championship game or something. You know what I mean? And to see it like that, I'm like, oh, man. You know, like, come on. I just honestly didn't even like the word facilitate because I don't want him to do that. And so I didn't even like that aspect of it. I just need you to score and shoot. And he was saying, well, that's what your point is. He was saying, well, I was coming off pick and rolls. I was doing this and that. But, everybody's got to kind of get involved, right? It just has to be on the team thing. It just sounds like disconnect. When you see this kind of stuff, when your coach is saying this and you're saying this and we both know you're talking to each other, there is miscommunication. There is a disconnect between either Zach LaVine and the team or just the team in general. But there is a disconnect going on, man, and we got to get to the roots.
This comment from Love Dave, I think, sums it up well. The most concerning thing to me is that this is out there publicly with on the record quotes. That this is getting leaked directly to the media. We haven't seen that a ton in recent years. This is reminiscent of the three alphas. This is seeming more and more like a locker room divided. That's the part that I don't love.
And listen, sometimes players and coaches are guarded with their answers when they are asked questions. And kudos to the media who were in Minnesota after that game asking them questions that led to these answers. Because you're right, Joey. Most often, players and coaches are not this blunt with what they're saying, even though they're still kind of veiled in their nobody called out anybody else by name.
Correct.
LaVine mentioned DeMar and Vooch by name, but he was talking about how they need to, band together to make this offense work. Right. But you're right. It's not good when the dirty laundry is aired, and that is the tip of the iceberg. Yes. More dirty laundry got aired later today, and we will get to that in just a minute. But last quote that I wanted to bring up from postgame is who might be considered a veteran leader of this team, even though he's a new arrival, and that is Goran Dragic. On the heels of what Zach LaVine said, Goran Dragic was asked about what's going on with this team, what's wrong with this team, and he said, somebody told me, and they were right, it's easy to talk about sacrifice, but it's easier when it's someone else's sacrifice to talk about. When it comes to you have to sacrifice for the team. It's a different story. You have to accept it, but it's tough. I hear Goran Dragic say that, and I also made note of it. I can't remember who posted the video on Twitter. I know our guy Mark K may have quote tweeted it or tweeted it himself. There was a play in that game against Minnesota Sunday night where Zach LaVine had the ball at the top of the key, took a couple dribbles left, and then took a step back, fade away, difficult mid-range shot, and had two guys contesting him.
Yeah.
And you could see Dragic in the background on the weak side of Zach, pointing over at Derrick Jones Jr., who was in the corner and open for three. And he seemed to be frustrated that Zach did not swing the ball over to the corner.
Yeah.
Now, you can say what you want about Derrick Jones Jr. and the likelihood of him hitting a three. That's a different conversation altogether. But to me, it seemed like Dragic was frustrated with Zach LaVine's ball handling, decision-making, shot selection, and then talked about sacrifice and talking about sacrifice and actually sacrificing after the game. That's a pretty damning comment from my view.
It's true, because even if you're thinking about all the guys on the team about sacrificing, who are you thinking about the most? Well, run down your stars. DeMar DeRozan, you need him to sacrifice? Not really, because he's your best player. Do you need Vooch to sacrifice? Not really. You want more, from Vooch. You want to see more things from him, and he is completely
he sacrificed
unselfish.
changing his role from when he was in Orlando.
Correct. He went from the number 1 to the number 3 guy, and we saw him struggle with getting to know what that meant to him last year. Where does he fit in with that? So, yeah, you've seen his sacrifice, basically. My sacrifice. You've seen his sacrifice and what he's done. Then you just look at Zach, and you're like, okay, what are you sacrificing here? What are you giving up? The DeMar DeRozan, the shots, and then the first thing that comes into my mind is the first sacrifice that I could think of was when Billy sat you down and said, yo, bro, you got to have a seat. How did he take that? Not well. Not well at all. He wasn't cool with that kind of sacrifice and said Billy's got to live with that. He wasn't cool with any of that. So it's safe to say, at least in my opinion, I could be completely wrong, that was something that was directed at Zach LaVine, being the one he has to sacrifice. That isn't the first time we've seen him just go 1-on-2 or 1-on-3 without passing the basketball. That isn't the first time I've seen him just be lazy on the floor. And this isn't the player that he is. That's why it's frustrating. I've seen him do this stuff, these lazy entry passes, with his left hand. You know what I'm saying? Because he talked about that, we try to get it inside the Vooch and stuff. Bro, I saw you throw an entry pass with your left hand. It was just the laziest pass I had ever seen. We've seen it impact your defense, one thing that we thought improved. But now it isn't looking like it's improved. We saw it multiple times in that Minnesota game that he wouldn't help Vooch. And we saw Vooch turn around and say, dude, what? Somebody, please. Can you help me out here? So I don't even like this because it feels like I'm piling on Zach, but it just feels like everything is kind of directed at him right now. I don't know anyone else on the team who has to sacrifice something. Everybody else, and damn sure ain't Patrick Williams. We're like, dude, more. No. I want more from you, Yeah. We want more things from everyone else, and it just seems like the only one is him, man. That's unfortunate.
Our guy Flipside saying we need to sacrifice for the team.
Oh!
Shout out JR from Grand Rapids.
Give that man the horn. Give him the horn for that one.
All right, we got to take a quick pause here to give a shout-out to our friends at DraftKings. While we're doing that, hit that thumbs up button if you're watching along. We got a whole bunch of people in pregame. I'm guessing because there was some drama that happened today. We'll talk about that drama coming up next. NBA fans, the time of year, everybody's talking about gifts, getting gifts, giving gifts, the holiday spirit.
Donations.
What about basketball? When I throw down on NBA action, it's got to be with DraftKings Sportsbook. That's my gift to myself. They're an official betting partner of the NBA and our official betting partner at CHGO. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NBA team to win and get $150 in free bets if they do.
Not bad.
Plus, everybody combine multiple bets for a bigger payout with those DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Throw one together for tonight's game. Bulls Heat. Who do you like? Points leader, rebounds, 3-pointers made. Pick anything you like, put it together. The bigger the odds, the bigger the payout. So download that app now and get in on the holiday hoops action. Sign up with promo code CHGO, and when you place that $5 money line bet on any NBA game, you will win $150 in free bets if that team wins. Okay.
Can I say this one thing real quick?
Please do.
Real quickly, right when the show started, I got Kyle tweets me, Big Dave rocking the Janet shirt. Dang.
Kyle knows.
It's not an age thing, Joey. Just got to know.
Kyle knows.
Well,
got to know.
I'll do better next time.
I know you will. And that's why I always
let me see the picture. I want to see if I would recognize that as Janet.
This is Miss Janet. If you don't
Oh, yeah. A younger. Yeah. But
if you know Rhythm Nation, you would automatically know this picture.
Yeah.
Well,
but Joey don't know Rhythm Nation.
I don't know Rhythm Nation.
I know. I just said that.
I suppose.
I know you don't know Rhythm Nation, one of the hugest, biggest albums of all time. I get it. You don't understand that. But this is part of the process, Joey. Part of the process.
Are we done with the reads tonight? Because I do have a question.
He's got a question.
Yeah.
So, you okay? Colin has a question, and I will put it up even though I was listening the other night when he referred to Lawrence as the OG, which upset me. And Dave agreed with him, but we'll hash that out later.
The OG. What are we arguing
He's our
about?
executive producer.
He's literally the OG.
Who did the first Bull show? Come on. Next.
I don't think you know how this works.
But he wants me to mention at some point that Dave has to eat meat and Matt has to eat Brussels sprouts or salmon or something to equalize the universe's balance.
I'll say this.
Because you think that'll help the Bulls in some way?
Well, I don't know if this is really out of the universal balance for the Bulls or if this is what's supposed to be happening, but Colin thinks that it might help.
Well, I'll tell you this, Colin. If we go to Paris, I will eat some meat. I promise you that. And the only reason is because when the hell is the next time I'm going to be in Paris? You know what I mean?
Hold up.
So I'll try something in Paris like that. But it has to be something different like that.
Calling the CEO right now.
Call the CEO. He's on the horn. He's on the horn.
You got to send us.
Look at Jake's like fingers crossed.
All right. Enough of that nonsense. No, I will not eat any salmon. Damn you.
He already did, so it's cool.
I mean, I have
Matt,
before.
I have a question.
What? We don't have time for this, Joey.
Oh, sorry.
There's drama. What's your question?
If you had to eat like a bunch of vegetables every day for a year, but the Bulls won the championship, would you do it?
Exclusively vegetables?
No, you
I
could
couldn't
mix
eat any
in meat, but you had to eat like a quota of vegetables every day.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Making sure.
Hell yeah.
But what if you couldn't eat any meat?
Then no.
Okay.
I love my Bulls, but I love meat more.
All right, keep going. Keep
Sorry,
going.
not sorry.
Keep going.
Okay. The drama continued today after all that was said post-game in the locker room by this Bulls team that got embarrassed in Minnesota. Shams Charania, may have heard of him, reporter for the
familiar.
NBA, for The Athletic and Stadium, dropped a doozy today. Here are a couple of the most important snippets. The Bulls have held multiple team meetings to try to work out their issues, and that has included one-on-one face-to-face sit-downs between DeRozan and LaVine, according to the team and league sources who were granted anonymity because they are not authorized to speak publicly on team dynamics.
Damn.
That is a doozy right there.
Definitely.
DeRozan and LaVine have had a strong mutual respect, blah, 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 All-Star Weekend. Their meetings have not led to in-game results so far, with a level of on-court stylistic tension simply festering throughout the season and being magnified due to the win-loss record.
Yeah.
Part 2, Joey, if you please. Even more, multiple league sources and sources close to the organization say LaVine and the Bulls are not seeing eye to eye. Over the past few weeks, there's been a palpable feeling across various parts of the franchise of a disconnect over LaVine's situation in Chicago. All of this happening with LaVine in the first season of his 5-year, $215 million max deal signed this summer. Dave, yikes?
Yeah.
Big yikes or holy yikes?
I think all apply.
Okay.
To be honest, you can use them all three. You can use all three there, man. Yeah, it's terrible. It's not a good situation. What I find interesting is they maintained a good relationship. Like, they're still cool with each other, but it's not connecting on the floor. It connected last year. Again, Lonzo Ball. Everything connected kind of last year. But this year, when you don't have a guy facilitating for you, the two guys who are your best players who have the ball, both of them are one-on-one guys. You know what I mean? So there's an offense that needs to be run. But they're not about to do that, especially when you're down. And with one of those guys being the king in the fourth, and, you know, it's been his whole game, his whole career, it's not going to happen that way. And another guy, you got Zach LaVine over here getting his new money, you know, maybe wants to prove, you know, that he is the man. He is the guy. Also, you know, new signing to Clutch Sports, which, just saying.
Right. And we've had people pointing out in the comments that, yes, you know, Zach switching over to Clutch Sports clientele may have some,
just saying,
like,
just saying, man. This
sort of enlarged egos once they get their contract, once they get some endorsement deals, which Zach LaVine has gotten.
Yeah.
Also, Shams Charania, not a player, but a reporter, is represented by Clutch.
This is true.
That's kind of funny to me.
Which makes the timing of this also very, very weird as well.
It's just anyone in the chat think it's funny that like Shams is represented by Clutch.
Yeah.
He's a reporter. It's just kind of funny.
Absolutely, we find that hilarious. Absolutely we do. And the time, all of it, all this stuff is just real interesting, real interesting to me. But yeah, man, it's not a good situation, especially when it's not leading to wins.
Right. Also, Joey, a lot of people in sports media, especially if they are upper echelon, have
I'm aware that they're represented by an agent. It's funny to me that it's such a high profile agency and that it's like he's represented by Clutch. Shams is a Clutch guy. Yeah. Like, he's like, what is he forcing a trade somewhere?
And you know, for those who might not have an Athletic subscription and didn't see the full report today, a lot of people were reading it, and then when they got to the end, saying, that seems like a column sort of defending Zach LaVine, saying, well, all of this team's problems can't be squarely on Zach LaVine's shoulders because there's this issue, Lonzo, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
And people saying, is this a Clutch client NBA reporter writing a column defending a Clutch client NBA player?
Maybe?
I think there's a certain element of that
I think it's a valid question.
All of this that was dropped today.
Yeah, I think it's a valid question to ask. I don't know if it's any validity to it in the response, but it's a valid question to ask. You know what I'm saying? Just to ask and say, wait a minute, is it? Are you? This is something, you know, just to ask it out there. So we'll see going forward, man. But as of right now, it just ain't good. Zach LaVine, and he's not playing well at all.
Hit the like on the video.
Problem.
Hit the like on the video if you think clutch sucks.
Even when you say that about DeMar's playing solid. DeMar's been good, but Zach is having the worst career.
I believe as of Sunday, DeMar is still second in the NBA in clutch scoring.
Saying, man,
Zach LaVine's clutch shooting percentage is like 20-something.
25. Is he 25 or 27?
I think. Yeah. Not great. So, and then, okay, so that was Shams Charania today. National NBA reporter, of course, it draws eyes to Bulls fans because it's somebody national at that scale talking about drama going on in the Bulls, dirty laundry with the Bulls. Then the local beat chimed in. Our guy Will is down in Brazil right now, lucky bastard. But
flex.
This came from Joe Cali of the Sun-Times about an hour ago. Sources indicate there was a blow-up between players at halftime of the T-Wolves loss, causing Bulls coaches to go into the locker room while they were talking outside. Source said it was the second time it happened. The other was right after a game. Billy Donovan confirms there was a halftime blow-up in Minnesota, but he did not go in there. He called it a good thing. Further, Joe Cali tweet, according to Bulls PR, on the halftime incident, the one point they wanted to clear up was coaches did not go into the locker room while the player fracas was happening, waited and went in after. Billy Donovan did say he was not in there for the incident. Casey Johnson of NBC Sports chiming in.
Shout out.
Can confirm Cowley's tweet that players had strong exchange at halftime of Timberwolves' loss, which drew coaches' attention. Sources said multiple teammates directed frustration at Zach LaVine, and the situation intensified. Further, Casey Johnson, post-game, Billy Donovan, when asked about some of the on-court exchanges, said players are trying to hold each other accountable.
That name, once again, keeps popping up. That name of Zachary Attackery keeps popping on up right here in these situations, man. That right there is the most damning thing for me out of all this stuff, because that is true evidence. You know what I'm saying? Everything else I could sit and I could speculate on. You know what I mean? Zach, what do you mean, Zach, when you say that? What do you mean, Billy, when you say that? I don't know. You know, maybe he didn't mean that. I don't know. Well, maybe him and DeMar, they still have a great relationship, but this is somebody else writing this. You know, this is third party that we're getting this from. Maybe not. When the coach says there was a blow up and they're telling you the blow up was because of Zach LaVine, that is evidence, physical evidence that some shit is not right with the team and Zach LaVine that rhymed.
Dupes, I also think it's a good thing when my employees are screaming at each other in the break room. So yeah, the last tweet that Casey had about this about an hour ago, and they were talking to Billy about this in Billy's pregame availability for tonight.
Yeah.
Asked about this tonight, Donovan said, quote, confrontation is healthy.
He did.
Players are trying to hold each other accountable. So to me, that's the biggest question here of two ways this can go. The dirty laundry has been aired.
Yeah.
It appears that Bulls players in the locker room at halftime got into it, and that there were multiple teammates addressing anger, frustration, whatever it might have been, at Zach LaVine, one individual. Does this bring them together? Does all the talk about sacrifice and Zach's talk after the loss about trying to do what I can and passing to my teammate, does this bring them together, or does this drive the wedge further and lead further towards the this ain't working and they're gonna blow it up part of the path?
Well, we're gonna find out in about 4 minutes. We're gonna get that answer very, very soon enough. If this is what it needed to be, because yelling is okay. I saw someone say, "Yeah, it's very healthy in the break room." Listen, in sports, yeah, that's the thing. Guys are gonna yell at each other in the locker room, get into it, get in each other's face. I sat here and yelled about it when we were doing the game, that who the hell is the one to get into the face, and as I said, as my friend said, the quote of the year from me, betwixt the crack. When he was the one in there getting on them guys, you know what I'm saying? And that's honestly, when I heard that, I said, good. I need to know you care. I need to know this. I need to know you feel the same anger that I feel, that this man feels often. I need to know you feel this. Pregame
hat toss.
Pregame hat toss, man.
This sucks.
I don't even have a graphic
See,
for that.
you got to be ready, Joseph. Always be ready.
The hat toss is in the other one. It's in the other.
It's whenever he feels.
I don't want to hear excuses, Joey.
That's right, Joey.
I want to see results.
Results is what we in. We're in the results business, sir. Oh,
hold on,
we got to be on it. But yeah, man, like I was happy to hear that because teammates were on it. I'm not happy to hear that it's completely directed at one player. I'm not happy to hear that. But
the player who just signed the richest contract in Bulls franchise history and has been struggling with his production on the floor.
Also having his worst season as a Chicago Bull and still has things to say while he's doing that. So none of it is good right now for the Chicago Bulls. But all that can be doing and starts with a win. I promise you. All of it starts with a win, man. So you got to go out here and beat this Heat team who are chilling tonight.
Speaking of which, we were frustrated at the Bulls' lack of winning against the Minnesota team that has been struggling this season and had sat Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. Tonight for the Heat, who have had some hilarious injury reports recently. It's hilarious if it's not your team's injury report.
That's true.
Gabe Vincent, out. Lowry, Caleb Martin were both questionable, out. Jimmy Butler initially listed probable yesterday's injury report. Today, probable turned to questionable, turned to doubtful, turned to out. No Vincent, no Lowry, no Martin, no Butler.
Oh, my goodness.
So, look, Tyler Hero has been playing well for them recently.
He's been balling.
He's been on a hot streak. He's been drilling. I think he hit like 9 or 10 threes in one of their victories recently. The Heat are coming into this game having won 4 straight.
Yeah.
They're kind of starting to get their ish together.
Yeah.
But did you hear who is not playing tonight?
Yeah.
Bulls. You got an opportunity to band together instead of falling apart.
It's right there.
The Heat are giving it to you. How long ago does it feel that we watched the Bulls start this season with a road win against these very same Miami Heat?
My first and only time going full meathead. I am 1-0 going full meathead for the Chicago Bulls. They don't even have half their team. Like, they're just chilling, man. Go get this victory. Let's see you guys play well and play together. Dragic obviously shows you he plays well against his former team. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get this victory tonight, guys.
I have a proposition for Bulls Nation.
Okay. Is it Patrick Williams hitting the first shot?
It's Zach LaVine hitting the first basket in addition to 3 plus 3-pointers. He's angry.
He's angry.
I love that.
Zachary.
This has been a hard on Zach pregame. So let's just read this comment from our guy Daddy Fish saying he's still coming back from surgery on a knee that he played on injured.
He did
last year.
He
deserves time. He's freaking Zach. Look, we have been doing our best to preach patience with Zach through the first 30 games of this season.
Completely.
So we've seen what good Zach LaVine looks like, and it was a big part of the Bulls holding the number 1 seed halfway through February of 2022.
He was amazing.
Last season.
Amazing.
He was a big part of that. Anyone who doesn't believe that, who says, empty calorie scorer, not a team player, not a winning player. Look, this stuff that came out today certainly does not paint Zach in the most positive light.
It does not.
But this team making the playoffs for the first time in 5 years and Zach LaVine being an all-star for the second consecutive year are not disassociated. They are very much associated.
Yes.
Don't get that mixed up.
Ever.
It's frustrating to watch the way that Zach has fought through the start of the season.
It has, man. But he can get it together. We can start tonight.
Why
not?
6:30, tip-off time. We will be right back here for postgame with our guy Mark K. Hit that thumbs up button if you had fun with us on pregame, despite the...
Need more likes. Only 59 likes. We've got 315 people watching.
Come on,
guys.
That's a lot of people.
As the young folks would say, something ratio. I don't like that ratio.
Yeah. That's good, Matt.
Got to get ratioed.
I like how he says they say something ratio.
I don't know the full saying of what the kids say.
Joey, do you know the full saying?
Well, first of all, I'll say ratio is not just a young people's term. It's a mathematics term as well.
Get him, Joey.
Well, I'm usually the one getting got, so it's
I am supporting your gotten.
Take my time here, take my opportunity. But yes, ratio, that's more of a Twitter context where it's like, oh, you said something stupid and then someone else responded with, and they got more likes. Ratio. That would be like if, Yeah, I don't really know what the proper comparison would be. Like that would be like
Damn it.
if I did my own podcast and I was like, go like my video and we got more likes, then I would have ratioed this one.
I was riding with you all the way, and then the wheel just fell right the hell on.
Yeah,
off.
you know what? End the show.